Well, hello there, everybody. John Nesbitt with the Customer Factory here. And I think, yeah, looks like we're rolling. Okay, good. So, welcome to the live stream. If you see what the title was, you'll see what it's all about. I'm going to give you a blueprint to new patient marketing that very reliable, very reliable. Is the blueprint that actually built my agency on the just this general structure. And this is all sort of some pre-work I'm doing for a larger webinar I'm doing up something soon at a time and place to be announced still, but I like to work up some really good content and go kind of in-depth, deep dive, real life stuff, so I can show folks what it is. I'll make that available to anybody. If you're on my mailing list, you'll get notified of when that webinar is. But you're getting a little sneak peek right now of some of what's going on with it. At least the first little chunk that I think was it's just so good I couldn't help but tell you about it. Right? I mean, it's like something that most folks don't get right, and we can actually, if you don't do this first part right, you can kind of sabotage what else you have going on in your marketing company. Okay, or not marketing in practice when you're doing your marketing, right? I have the marketing company. Okay, anyhow, so obviously the first point of this whole thing is to help you get more revenue. So many docs have like they they had bigger plans than what they have now. They wanted to have a bigger office, they wanted to have more time off, they want to have a bigger overall operation, more revenue, that sort of thing, so they could grow and help more people. And often docs are frustrated by the fact they aren't growing like they want to. They're not really reaching those goals or affecting the community or the industries to the degree they want to. And a huge part of that is how effective is the marketing. Because really, if you've got the better mousetrap, the world does not beat a path to your door. You've got to let them know. And to let them know, you've got to be effective at your marketing. And I'm going to cover I've come up with 5 or 6 key pieces you've got to have right in an overall blueprint for good marketing. And I'm going to cover the first key to this thing, the first major step. And I don't have any slides for this to show you guys. This is literally that fresh. I was just working this out, going, oh my gosh, this is killer. This is good stuff, right? And I've got just I keep looking over here because I've got some notes on it, but literally fresh, hot notes on my Google Drive here of what this is all about. So obviously, a marketing program is really only considered to be successful if it's reliable. Otherwise, it's a marketing stunt, and that's of very little value business-wise. If you can go out and do something one time that'll get you 50 new patients, well, bully for you, do that. But if it doesn't work month after month, year after year, it's really not a program. It's really not something that you can build a business on. If you want to build a business on, if you want to build a strong multi-million-dollar practice, you've got to have consistent feeder lines of new patients coming in. There's really no other way to do it. I mean, it's literally just something you've got to have. It kind of goes without saying. But I want to actually put down there, it's not an accident when it does happen. When you see a big practice that's got a lot of new patients coming in, it's not by accident. That's a plan. That's a marketing plan, or probably several marketing plans that are overlaid with each other that are getting the results that the practice owner wants, and getting the cases and the people he wants to see and the people he can close, right? So good marketing is not a mistake. Good marketing is built from the ground up. It is architected. It is blueprinted. It is manufactured. And the bedrock of that is going to be the first point I'm going to cover here for you, right? The first part of running a marketing program has nothing to do with running ads, has nothing to do with writing copy, has nothing to do with anything. But everybody gets excited and skips this part. And if you skip this part, you're basically randomly trying things. I mean, you're basically screwing yourself over, and that's market research. Now, before you roll your eyes, everybody, oh, market research. I'm going to tell you, market research is so much easier to do than you realize it is. And why? What is market research? First, define what it is. Market research is, okay, we all come from our own point of view, right? You went to school, you learned how to do this practice, and you have a point of view of a practice owner, right? People out there in the marketplace, they come in from their own point of view. They're consumers, they're truck drivers, they're homemakers, they're whatever they happen to be, right? They all have their own point of view and their own experiences, their own things. If you market from your own point of view, you say, oh, well, come to my practice because we have the Convertilator 305 machine, which is really cool. We all heard about it at the last convention, right? And I have this and this and this that are all based on what you find valuable at your practice. The homemaker, the truck driver, the worker out there goes, huh, well, that's not important to me. I don't care. It's because you're not speaking to them from their point of view. Market research is basically the little things you do to where you learn how to present your marketing so that they get something out of it. So you attract the right people in. Okay. I used to have a dentist friend of mine who was so proud of the dentistry work that he would do. He actually carry little pieces of little pictures in his wallet of cases he'd done. Is basically people with the mouth wide open, right? And he would show it to, hey, here's some dental work I did. Now, when he showed it to another dentist, it was like, oh yeah, see what you did there. You show it to somebody like me, it was like, ugh, that's kind of gross, man. Some guy's teeth hanging out, and oh yeah, right. That's just basically marketing from the wrong point of view. Okay, so how do you figure out the right marketing point of view? You do your market research, and here's a quick rundown of how you accomplish market research. People think market research is like focus groups and going out on the sidewalk with a tie and a clipboard and getting that kind of stuff. That's not market. I mean, yes, those are involved in some market research, but you don't got to do any of that, right? The good news is if you've been in practice for any length of time, if you've had any success at all, you've got more market research in your own head than you realize, and probably about all you need to know. You get some objective measurements that I'll tell you about here, but really, you probably already know. We just have to pull it out of you in the right way so you know what you've got, right? So the first thing in doing market research is you figure out what service you're trying to sell, right? What complaint do you want to address for people? Is it neuropathy? Is it sciatica? Is it what is the pain or discomfort or disability that the person is experiencing out there that you want to market for because you've got a handling for, you've got a treatment for. Obviously, you wouldn't market something that you didn't have a treatment for. So you've got a new decompression machine, and now you're going to do sciatica marketing. So you say, okay, we choose sciatica. Okay, good. So what you want to figure out then is, all right, well, based on your own experience, just think about this. Answer this question straight out. What is the age range of the sciatica patients? Now, what is not the outlier? Oh, we have an 18-year-old guy who came in once and that 200-year-old guy came in once. What is the butter zone? What is the average? What is the mean, if you want to use a mathematical term? What's the middle one, right? What is the ones that are the most likely age group there? You say, okay, well, usually it's going to be 45-year-old men, some women, of course, but basically 45-year-old men. So you kind of get nailed down just from your own experience, the age and gender of a good patient, of a good decompression patient, right? You can actually go into the invoices, you go to your patient files and pull out the last 10 people you had, mark down how old they were, and you can get an exact, official market research version out of that. But you get the idea, right? The next thing you want to do is, and when you're writing all this down, this is part of your marketing plan, is the market research. You write down what are the words they use when they're mentioning the complaint. Some people come in and say, oh, my sciatica is acting up, right? But that's not most of them. If you say, well, explain to me what you're feeling, or they'll use certain words like, oh, it's a shooting sharp pain down my leg. Ah, okay, shooting sharp pain down my leg. Those are important. Whatever the common words are, what are the people who are not trained to call it sciatica, who don't know what sciatic nerve is from a hole in the ground, right? What do they call it? What do they call that pain? And what are their own words that they use? Write that down. Those are going to be key for you when you write your ad copy and your headlines later on. All right. Next, okay, so look at these people and figure out, all right, do you service the whole world? Well, theoretically you could, because someone could fly in to see you, but actually you want to figure out where these people live. And the best way to do that, I found, is by searching the zip codes of your current patient base. So you want to target just the people who are most likely to come in. And the way you do that is they've been self-selecting themselves out the whole time you've been there. Pull out your files, take the last 25 people, 50 people, write down the zip codes that they're from, tally up who's in how many zip codes, and take the top 80% zip codes, the guys where 80% of your patients come from. It'll be an 80-20 rule. Just find the ones where most of your patients come from, and those are your zip code targeting. So now you've got the ideal age and demographics of the person. You've worked out what words that you're going to be using in your ads, and you worked out the place to target them, right? Where are they? You don't have to go far afield. Don't make the mistake of going too broad and going 100 miles around your office because you're reach 10 million people, because you'll actually waste a ton of money and almost get nothing done because you're not spending enough money to reach the right people. Okay. Another thing you do is look at what interests they have in common. So think back on the people you know. Do they all have a certain interest in common? Are they into nutrition and fitness when they come see you? Do they have anything like that? Do you have, what is there that also ties these guys together? The reason I ask is because on Facebook, you can often search by some of those interests. So you can say, all right, bring me all the people who are into boating in this area, who live in these zip codes, men between this age and that sort of thing. See, now you're starting to get your targeting done just for your market research. Okay. Once you've got all this down, write it down and be kind of thorough about it, especially when it comes to the complaint words. Like, what do they say when they come in? What are their words? Put it all down. Now you have what we call your market research. This becomes something that I'll be honest, I would print it out and stick it in a folder somewhere and say, okay, this is important, right? This is, whenever you're going to do any kind of marketing, come back to this document to remind yourself of what it is people are after. Because the more correct you are with your document and the more correct that your ads and your marketing match that market research, the more likely that every other step of your marketing is going to be right. Imagine you ran ads, Facebook ads, you spend $1 million running Facebook ads saying, come get your subluxation handled, right? That is going to thud. But you could spend $100 saying, come get your lower back pain handled and get a bunch of new patients, right? So this market research sets you up with the vocabulary and the correct targeting. So you're going to be able to reach the right people, access that market, and attract the right people just from doing this market research. And it probably took you all about 20 minutes to do, but it does take discipline. This is what I'd call something on a marketer's discipline. If you're going to be a good marketer, a certain piece of discipline you have to have is to do the research first. Think it through first before you start hitting the fire button on a bunch of ads, right? That's the first thing we want to do is just jump into Ads Manager, write some ads, make some pictures, do some sexy headlines, and push the fire button, right? Yeah. Okay. For lack of anything else, better that to do that than nothing. But if you really want to do it right, you get your market research in hand first, and then you start acting like a pro. Now, as I mentioned, there are several other steps. Obviously, running ads, setting up landing pages is another one. Getting people actually in the door, right? Checking your ads, making sure they're running, those kinds of things. All those are important in the blueprint that I'm going to go over. Like I say, so do this. Go and get on my mailing list because I don't know when this webinar is going to be. Probably next week or two because I'm kind of excited about it. But I want to make sure it's a complete thing. What you want to do is here. I'm going to put up on my screen here. All right, good. So I've got a whole bunch of help guides, a whole bunch of PDFs. Oh yeah, I've got a whole marketing program that fills out a lot of stuff. What I'm going to, kind of fills in the details, a lot of stuff on this page, customerfactory.com/PDFs. It's on the screen right there. That page right there has got on the top headline is actually a marketing program I put out about 6 months ago, which talks generally about all the different pieces of the marketing program. Go ahead and download that now. It'll put you on a mailing list when I do the webinar and go into these very specific blueprint pieces that you'll really have the whole piece that you need so you can do this marketing yourself. Okay. And of course, if you decide that you'd rather not do the marketing yourself, hey, that's totally fine because you just okay to outsource things. Hopefully you consider a company like mine, the Customer Factory, where all we do all day long is put good marketing programs together for clients and bring them in a consistent flow of qualified new patients. That's, we know that a marketing plan is only as good in this area as it gets a consistent flow of qualified new patients. Oh, it's right on the banner behind me. What do you know? Exactly the words I just said, right? That's what we do. So if you want some help with that, just want to push the easy button, go over to the customerfactory.com website. If there's a place you can actually set a little 15-minute appointment, we can just talk and see if it's a good fit for you and for us. Okay. Hopefully you got a little something on this video, and I will see you in the next one. Take care, y'all.